For over 27 years here in Tuscaloosa, Catfish Heaven has been pleasing our taste buds with their delicious catfish, pan trout, hot wings, coleslaw, hush puppies, and don't forget about those made-to-order French fries. Whether it's your snack time, lunchtime, or dinner time, give the guys a call over at Catfish Heaven at 205-752-7222, or you can make your order online at catfishheaventuscaloosa.com. So head on over to Catfish Heaven at 2502 21st Street. See you there.
Hello?
Hey, Rick, I had to call you to tell you that the food that you brought to the party last night was wonderful. It made me think about my grandmother's cooking. Where did you get that food, brother?
I went down to Thomas Rib Shack to pick up the ribs, but when I got there, I seen that they had more than just ribs. I seen baked chicken, fried chicken, corn muffins, vegetables, apple pie, peach pie, and I looked around and I seen a sign that told me that they got chitlins and oxtails on Sunday. Oh, all I can tell you, go down to 2931 15th Street or just give them a call like I did at area code 205-759-5010. Thomas Rib Shack, Tuscaloosa, Alabama.
Head on down to Archibald and Woodrow, some of the best barbecue in Tuscaloosa, Alabama, y'all. Right off of 4125 Greensboro Avenue, Tuscaloosa, Alabama 35405. You can hit them up at 205-331-4858. Also, you can find them at their other location, 1211 Martin Luther King Boulevard, Northport, Alabama 35476. 205-345-6861.
Tastes so good, make you want to slap your mama. Fly, fly, fly. Gucci, huh? I drink till I'm drunk.
Fellas, head on down to New Generation Barber Shop, right off of 2600 McFarland Boulevard East, Suite C. Go ahead and get you a fly cut from my boy Fred Brown. You can hit him up at 205-292-4995. Also Sam Brown at 205-722-8506. And how can I forget about my boy Amp the Barber? Hit him up at 205-561-7473. Check him out, y'all.
Pick I might as well hell. Drop the top and take a selfie, Marco.
You shopping at a goddamn number 2 pencil.
All right, and welcome to another episode of the all-new T-Town 411 Report. I'm your host, Darren McKinstry. We're broadcasting live from McKinstry Banquet Hall, located at 5480 Jug Factory Road here in Tuscaloosa. We're also broadcasting live on Sound Booth Radio and Sound Booth TV with my main man, Mike. Mike, tell them how they sound in on Sound Booth TV and Sound Booth Radio.
Sure thing, Daryl. To get in with us on the radio side of Sound Booth Radio, just go to your iOS or you can go to Play Store, download that Live 365 app. Once you download that app, search for us in the search bar, type it in Sound Booth Radio 106.1. That'll get you on with us over here on Sound Booth Radio. To check us out on the television side, just go over to YouTube or Facebook Live and type in Sound Booth TV. Or you can type in Sound Booth Radio and it'll bring you up to Sound Booth TV.
Great. As always, Veronica Taylor has provided us with the COVID-19 update. And as of 3:45 today, DCH has 18 inpatients with DCH system that are positive for COVID-19. 5 or fewer positive for COVID-19 being treated in ICU. 5 or fewer inpatients positive for COVID-19 on ventilators. And of those in the hospital, 6 are fully vaccinated and 12 are not vaccinated, are not fully vaccinated. Of those in ICU, 2 are fully vaccinated and 2 are not fully vaccinated. Mike, as always, we say a prayer for those that are going through. And man, Mike, it's just touching, man. It's this death. That death angel is around everybody today. I mean, it's just floating. I want to send our condolences and prayers to the Anderson, Jimbo Anderson and Kim Anderson, on their daughters. Yeah, we want to send much prayers up to that family, to the Clark family also. One of my old church members, Miss Fanny Davis, want to send our prayers and condolences to her family. And then a good friend of mine, worked many years out at Taylor Hardin, Wallace Gaskin. Want to send a prayer out to him and his family, and all the other families, man. It's just that death angel is walking around here, and it hadn't stopped. It hadn't stopped. We want to say our condolences to the Merriweather family. Angela Merriweather lost her granddaughter in the shooting this past Friday over in Hay Court. And to all the other people that are going through it, all the other bereavement families, man, it's just getting tough right now. I tell you, it continued to hit home. It's no longer the other people. It continues to hit home in some shape, form, or fashion. That this death angel is calling up on our family. Matter of fact, the Harris family. I want to say special prayers to the Harris family. Miss Phyllis, my in-laws, sister up in Chicago, passed today too. So I want to say big prayer for all the families, if you will. Let's just bow our head for a moment. Heavenly Father, thank you for this day. Thank you for your grace and your mercy. Thank you for watching over my family and my family and everybody else's family right now, Heavenly Father. We know that you're in charge. We know whatever these families are going through, you will at the end of the day make them understand. Right now, there is no one that's too old or too young to lead this earth right now, Heavenly Father. Right now, we ask that you continue to watch over the doctors and the nurses, all the essential workers right now. Special prayer for the firemen and the police, the government, our family and your family, whoever it may be. Heavenly Father, we're asking for your grace and mercy. Go with the bereavement families. Go to the ones that are sick and shut in. Go with the nursing home. In your Son, Jesus Christ's holy name, we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Man, I tell you, it's been a tragic. It's been a tragic weekend and a transitional weekend of death. A lot of people wondering what we was going to talk about tonight, Mike. It gets to the point where you just don't want to talk about something sometimes, you know? It's just so much. It's so much bad things be going on, and you just...
I just want to say, Daryl, you know, we still got the violence that's going on in the streets here, and it's enough when we got the COVID still running rampant out here. Right now, you know, they just okayed or the vaccinations or booster shots for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
So anybody who has already been vaccinated is recommended that you go and get you a booster shot. If your last vaccination was 6 months ago, 6 months or more, go get you a booster shot. I've talked to a couple people and they said they don't know about getting another booster shot right now because 2 shots in 1 year is enough. But at this particular moment in time, we looking around to see how many people are leaving us due to COVID.
Mm-hmm.
We got too many things going on that's just too many things going against us right now. With violence in the streets, and then on top of this, we got this COVID virus that
Mike,
also taking out people.
Right now we're dealing with 3 C's. A lot of 3 C's: crime, violence, crime, death by crime, death by cancer, and death by COVID. The 3 C's, and they are. This is all 3 of them are deadly. All 3 of them are deadly. This gun violence, man. This is just getting. It's beyond the word we saying it's ridiculous anymore. It's beyond the fact that we saying what we gonna do. It's beyond. Matter of fact, controlling it is beyond our level of enforcement right now.
You know, Daryl, I was having a talk with somebody, and they said something that kind of resonated with me in aspect of trying to do things. Like they basically said Northport had 1 murder for the first time in UK. They don't even know how long it's been. And that was a young lady that got killed at the Wendy's.
Mm-hmm.
And they were technically from Tuscaloosa, from what he said. They came to Northport with it. You don't really hear about a lot of stuff going on in Northport. Not that they don't have crime and stuff in Northport, but you're not hearing a whole lot of violent stuff going on in there. And generally, it's because most people know that Northport got that reputation of Northport police don't play. And when he said that, I immediately went back to when I was in high school myself, and I started driving. And where you did not want to go was Northport. You didn't want to be over there at nighttime because if you swerved a little bit, they was pulling you over. They was giving you a hard time. Mm-hmm. It's almost like, you know, you have to pick your poison. Do you want a police force that's going to be that hard on you? Or do you want a police force to be real relaxed? And when you get a police force to be real relaxed, then you start getting what Tuscaloosa is looking like now.
I don't know how the enforcement people make a difference with Northport. I can say they're firm, consistent,
mm-hmm.
On what they do, even in the court system, even in the even when it comes down to the housing authority for the vouchers for the apartments, and how strict they are with enforcing the rules of those of apartments and Section 8 and things of that nature. I guess that makes a big difference. That makes a big difference. Tonight, you can call me on my number. I did find my phone, 205-826-7661. Or you can call Mike on 310-6067. 205-310-6067. Tonight, we got the airways just open up for whatever you would like to talk about. In general, we know a lot of people got family coming in for the holidays, and we just want to say, hey, we understand, and we're gonna go ahead and let people know Thursday we will not be on this Thursday for Thanksgiving Day. So we will go ahead and talk it up and chop it up tonight. But
we'd like to say a quick shout out to my folks who just got back in from South Carolina, Michael and Kitty Buchanan. They just came in, so they checking us out for the first time tonight. So
okay, family. That's where your mom.
That's where they live at now.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, great. Man, like I said, I'm just disturbed. I mean, like I said, you got so many transitional deaths, but you're also dealing with tragic deaths. Transitioning is, elderly members of families that, go through natural causes of death
Mhm.
compared to the tragedy of an accident or a gunshot victim. And also, we had Tuscaloosa police that had to did fire upon a young man, from my understanding, this past weekend also. And he was shot, multiple times.
Yeah, and I think this past week, and also they had the blue code that was issued. Was it this weekend?
Um,
A blue alert is what they called it. First time I ever seen a blue alert,
oh,
but
yeah,
it
yeah,
was
about the state trooper that was
yeah.
assaulted. Yeah, yeah.
So I mean, we all know that at certain times of the year, people start acting a little bit more wildly. But this year right here. Uh, do you contribute it to people being locked up in the house for majority of the year, or what? I don't know. I just you see more and more people trying to get out and be able to do things nowadays, but I'm more kind of scared to do that now because it seems to be like everybody's shooting.
Seen something I think came across the news bracket also about um, weapon that was used in a homicide was theft was stolen here in Tuscaloosa. Illegal purchase weapon in Tuscaloosa that was used in a homicide somewhere else. Man, it's oh no, Mike, it's I don't have no answers no more, man. I'm serious. I'm to the point where I just kind of like throw up my hands, man. It's I have no idea.
Unfortunately, Daryl, that's where I think a lot of people have come to. Um, and once again, getting back to the discussion I was having with a good friend of mine about the difference between Northport and Tuscaloosa, it's I don't think that we have enough police force to do the things that Norfolk police have the reputation of doing. Because once you get the reputation, that's most of the work, I think. But I don't know.
Well, I mean,
they say they won't even they want to let their kids go when their kids come back in from out of town or whatever. They're not allowed to go in certain areas of town. It shouldn't even be like that. It shouldn't be like don't go on the west side. Don't go to Alberta City. Don't go.
look, Mike, me and another friend guy of mine were talking today, and they saying he said Hay Court has turned into what Hay Court used to be back in the day. I said,
Yeah.
well, but it wasn't as deadly though. I mean, right now it's like it's tremendously deadly to even think sometimes if you visit someone in a neighborhood that, and we still, unless you know, about 3 weeks ago there was another shooting. It might have been a month now that took place in Hay Court where a guy was, from my understanding, killed during the same time the young lady over in at Wendy's they got
Yes.
shot. But
Yes. Last month.
okay, so I don't recall, like I said, unless you or someone else can recall that might have heard, what was the results of that particular victim in Hay Court? Did he die or did we? I just don't remember seeing anything.
I think he died, but you know what? They didn't speak much about it. Uh, it's kind of like they don't even report a lot of the stuff that's going on anymore. But I guess because there's so much of it that they can't get it all in. Maybe I don't know. But yeah, they didn't speak much about that particular incident. Um, it was kind of like a mention in passing. They did more talking about the incident in Northport at the Wendy's.
Right.
And I don't know. There are like the question is, how many different things go on in the city that we don't know anything about? We actually don't. I mean, Tuscaloosa News ain't even down here anymore. So
that's true. You know, the young man that did that was charged with the murder charge on Friday was already out on bond. You know, we had a couple weeks ago, we talked about bonds and how his bond was set at $180,000 for this particular crime that just happened this past weekend. But he was already out on bond for another murder charge and an attempted murder charge. So, for those that don't understand, because the first thing they're going to say, why he got a bond? He just killed somebody already. Well, the court gives you the right to have a bond. The law gives you the right to have a bond. But in his case, his original murder case bond was revoked. So even if he made the $180,000 bond, he wouldn't be able to get out on the previous murder charge bond. That makes sense? Okay. Because it's been revoked. In other words, and if some of the people don't understand that, that's what we're saying. It's been revoked, and that's why it wouldn't be worth anyone spending $18,000 to get the young man out, and then he still got to sit there. Once again, join us on the phone call 205-826-7661 that'll get you on the phone with us tonight, or 310-6067. It's Iron Bowl week. We can go ahead and get our sports segment on in right quick. And if you want to talk about who's going to win this particular Saturday, Alabama or Auburn or Alabama. And we already want to congratulate the University of Alabama for winning the SEC West by beating Arkansas 35-28. Yeah, 35-28 or 27, whatever the score was. But Mike, and I know Veronica probably watching, is Bama gonna? Bama dropped in the college football playoff rankings to 3 this week.
Yeah. I think Ohio State moved up to number 2. I think. You know, they tend to, for some reason, Ohio State tends to get benefits of the doubt all the time. Just like last year. Honestly, I don't think Ohio State should have played for the national championship. I don't think they should have even got the playoffs because they didn't have enough games. But they somehow tend to do that with Ohio State every year. If they got one loss, they generally going to be in the mix.
Veronica, call the other number. Let me tell you to call the other number. Hey, Veronica, call the 826-7661 number.
Okay.
But you know, actually, we got this game with Auburn. It's looking right now, especially considering how they're looking at the fact that Arkansas was ranked like number 20 or 22. I think when we played them, and they gave Alabama a run for their money. Our defense just, I don't know. Actually, it wasn't even everybody on Arkansas. It was really, truly 2 players that was really killing Alabama.
Man, Arkansas, I told y'all from the beginning of the year, Arkansas had a good team, a good team going this year. Veronica on the phone with us. Come on, Veronica, sum it up for me.
Hey, Veronica. Hey, y'all. Yeah, you told us Arkansas had a good team, and if anybody stopped to pay attention to it, the fact that they handed out the first couple of losses, they beat A&M.
It was another SEC team that they beat.
Mhm.
So my thing was, it's like I wonder, is it gonna be Arkansas or not? They fans was happy. Now I was happy for them as long as when they came, they didn't beat us. But
Mhm.
my thing about it is, you Arkansas have been playing everybody well, and as usual, Bama always get everybody best. So I was not surprised we dropped. And I know some people don't like Ohio State. I can't stand Ohio State, but there's a difference between like and respect. And even though Michigan State may not have should have been number 7, I do think they should have been way above Arkansas. And ain't no way you hang 57 points. Honestly, the last 7 was whatever. And then they get 7 at the end. Ain't no way you hang 49 points on Michigan State and don't put them above Alabama when Alabama played and almost lost the game. To just be honest with it, that onside kick had to probably could have found ourselves in overtime. So people can say if this, then, and the other. If but just like Mr. Oscar Wilde used to say, if no ifs, ands, buts, ors, or roars. You always got your ass beat. And that's my team. And I'm still hoping we get there, but I don't want to get there and get embarrassed. Period. I'd rather lose a game and don't get to the playoffs than to lose and get to the final game and get embarrassed. Because anybody, a fanatic fan like I am, you're gonna be fanatic. But see, some fanatic fans keep the blinders on until that final game, and then they be looking for pills. But it don't work out that way. You
Right.
never underestimate somebody like them the way they're playing everybody. And I don't want nobody to say Arkansas played up this year to everybody, and just like when they get to us, they played up even harder. And I watched Tennessee and Georgia, and before this week, I felt like if we play Georgia, we got a chance with Georgia. This week, like I keep saying every game, we too up, down, left, right, good, bad, wish you watch it. It just you never know what you're gonna get. And we had basically 2 players. What's the name in Bryce? And then that boy out there always good for a penalty. People get mad, I said, but he just like the Quanjo boy. Every year we get one. It's always good for a penalty. And I don't care what nobody say. When the referees watch these games, when they know you're good for a penalty, they keep their eye on you harder. I believe it. And 74 good for at least. I was glad he had one as long as he did. That was 7 points combat right there. And they keep talking about how Bryce tried to be fancy. Yeah, he got a little pep in his step because he scored that touchdown. Who wouldn't? That wasn't on Bryce when that boy ended up, we missed those 7 points and then ended up missing 3. Bryce made his touchdown. That's just like Jalen Hurts at the end of the thing in the championship when we almost won with him as a quarterback. He did his part. Defense was tired. That Bryce scored his touchdown. The next time he tried to make it happen, he could. It just didn't happen. But they kept him out. Bryce. No, I'm looking at the one that got the call back. No self-control, no consistency, just no nothing. And honestly, it's almost about worse than down there with Auburn. Except it ain't our head coach, it's our OC and DC.
And I don't know if you agree with me on this one, but I still didn't like the fact that in that second half, they somehow got away from the run, especially in the fourth quarter. Brian Robinson was breaking off 6 and 8 yard runs, and they stopped running him.
I don't know if it's like so O'Brien just got here was he here this year? This is his first year?
Is it first year?
Okay. Well, we had other running backs. They were just those backs. I still respect Robinson, but I still feel like they shy away from the run game because they feel like he is that back, but he's that only one. But he ain't no Derrick Henry. You can have that only one if it's a Derrick Henry. You can have that only one if it's a Trent Richardson or even a Mark Ingram. But you just can't have he's just not that quality of a back where they can say, let's run. Because he also has some issues with ball protection. Like I said, I respect him, but he would not go nowhere where any of the other running backs went in the draft. He would not. And I know people don't like to hear when you say stuff like that. It ain't down to the hometown person, or it ain't down to the person that you like. We need a 1-2. If we're gonna have Brian Robinson, you need a 1-2 punch.
When you playing
he cannot. We need to stick with the running game. But a lot of times in some of them games, when they did go with the running game, we wasn't getting nothing. Not for real. Saban ain't crazy. I mean, we know who the OC is, but at the end of the day, Saban is the coach. And if he really felt like Robinson can get us what he felt like we had that running game on lock, it would be done.
But you also got to look at the
Well,
offensive
yeah, I
line too.
disagree with that because we have had the only game that he really did not produce when they were trying to run him was LSU.
I've seen some games where, like I said, it's not that he did so much produce. He's not that back where we can, as an Alabama, being Bama standard with a running back, he is not that back. Whether it was the LSU game, whether it was the first game, whether it was the second game. I feel like him being the number one, we got to have that 2 punch. That's just like when I keep saying Mark and Trent. A lot of people really thought Trent was better than Mark, but because Mark was good enough to be that one, and because of the respect Saban had, he kept his position. He never really did enough to lose his position. When he left, Trent moved up. Eddie Lacy ended up being about better than one on when you talk about a college level. We have to have that 1-2. Because if I line them up, Ingram, King, Henry, Lacy, Brian Robinson, I see him as a B-level back. And I don't think we can establish no good. Y'all looking at Georgia backs, they don't even, the quality of the backs they have, they don't even have to rely on that one. We may have that back in the stable that can be his 1-2. But since it's somebody like a Georgia, that's why we keep having, I know them coaches, we get pissed off with them, we get mad at them. But sometimes you have to just be honest with yourself and be like, we armchair coaches. Well, no matter how many games you done watched, been to, or did, and all this kind of stuff, we still armchair. And a lot of times you have a coach that just sucks. But a lot of times them coaches know what they got to work with. And they know how they're going to be successful. And he could have a successful game. But I still don't believe the production will be what it really should be as far as the Bama we know. He's had some games where he's had 100-some yards. Who are they against? And then if it's LSU that's stopping, look at LSU.
You're right. I mean,
but look at LSU. That can't be right because LSU.
Look at LSU. If he wasn't productive against LSU, look at LSU. So LSU has been LSU. I think is last. I think LSU is last. I think LSU is last in the West.
But was Bryce Young productive against LSU?
I mean, we're gonna talk about the back, or we're gonna talk about the quarterback. Because my thing is Bryce Young. No, I'm saying Bryce Young. No. I'm talking about. We were talking about. I'm not. You talking about the team. You're talking about the team.
He's not a good.
No. But I didn't compare him to nobody else that's on that team. Mike, you got that friendly connection. I did not compare him to nobody else that's on that team right now. I was talking about the running backs that we have right now as far as production. I compared him to past team members. I didn't compare him to no quarterback. We're not talking about Bryce Young. Bryce Young is growing up on that field. Bryce Young is doing exactly what he's supposed to do. As a freshman, this boy's a senior. Bryce Young is a freshman. I'm not going, that's after oranges. I'm not comparing them. When you look at our team, it's really probably 3 productive people. Bryce, Williams, Jameson Williams is a great receiver. Match, they good. There ain't nobody going to be no Ruggs, no Smith, and no Waller. But defense, we got one dog on defense. We got the one dog on offense for real quarterback. And Brian Robinson, I would put him third. So, but I'm not talking about that. This discussion was not about that. I compared him to other past team members. I didn't talk about this as a team. You brought in Robinson. I'm talking about this year. No, Mike, I did my comparison. You can't tell me what I need to compare. That's what I'm comparing. I'm comparing him to other running backs.
So what I'm trying to say is simply that if you're going to compare it to other running backs in the past, we had other running backs. That's what I did, but I'm not comparing him to no quarterback. He's a running back. I talked about other running backs from the past. I just came off the quarterback and went back to running backs in the past. No. But what I'm saying, that's where you stop though. That's where you off this conversation. That's what you do, Veronica. I'm not gonna let you do that, Mike. I'm not gonna let you do that. Because what I said, because we started talking down. Did we not start talking about Robinson? And then when see, your name ain't Darryl. Your name ain't Darryl. But your name ain't Darryl. But you made it a team thing. I was talking about Robinson, and I compared Robinson to other running backs. What did you just do?
Mike, it don't matter how foggy you try to get. When we was talking about running backs, and I compared him to past running backs. No, you got somebody been pissed in your teeth today. Somebody pissed in your teeth today. But no, I'm not talking fast. I ain't no hustler, Mike. I'm no hustler. I'm not talking fast. I ain't no hustler. I said what I said. And you started saying something about the quarterback. I wasn't talking about quarterback. When I started talking, he asked me how did I feel. I started talking about Robinson. I compared him to past quarterbacks that aren't on this team. I was the one who brought up the whole entire thing. I don't care who brought up. See, you trying to pick apples and oranges and nitpicking. No, I'm talking about what we were talking about. Daryl asked me. No, but he what? Or you need to be the host. You need to be the main host. Because Daryl asked me how did I feel. I started talking about Robinson. I started talking about the game. I started talking about Robinson. The mess came, or the madness, or your fogginess came when you wanted to say something about the team, and I said I'm not talking about the whole team. So you got to know if you're gonna draw up, be consistent and draw up. No, I'm not drawing up, but I'm just. If you're gonna draw up, be consistent. Every single time that we have a conversation, and we talking about today, or we talking about all year? We talking about today, or we talking about all year? We talking about football. We talking about football. What else we talking about? What are we talking about? What I'm saying, what are we talking about? Because you got something on your chest. You talking about football? Because you won't never let nobody get a word in. Because you talking out of tune. You said every time. I didn't talk out of tune. I simply. Yes, you did. Because you said every time I'm the only one that can have an opinion. But of course, if I don't agree with you, then you get to the point where you start talking real fast, and everybody else don't know nothing. But what changed? What changed? What changed? What changed? Just because you're a fanatic. What changed? Like ain't nobody. You're a fanatic fan of Alabama. You're a fanatic fan of Alabama. But what your issue is?
What's gonna happen this Saturday? That's all I want to know.
But no, you're a fanatic fan. You don't want nobody to say nothing about Robinson because you got your heart on your sleeve for him. That's all that is. That's all that is. You don't want nobody to say nothing about Robinson. It still don't change how I feel. 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 You got upset because you got a man crush on Robinson. You didn't want me to say nothing there. I said he was a good back. I said he was a good back. Ask this question right quick, real quick. Now, I didn't come at her and call her no kind of name and saying none of this stuff. But she ain't call you no name. But she got to sit back and say, I got a man crush because I got an opinion about Mike, all of a sudden you got to fly in your teeth because I critique Robinson. Hold on. I got a man crush because I got an opinion about a player, but because you got an opinion about a player, you don't. Right? I got a man crush on all of them. No. But I'm just saying, that's what you're saying though. If I got an opinion about players on the team. Nope, I didn't say that. I ain't say nothing about if you got an opinion. I said you have a man crush on Robinson. I ain't said nothing about your opinion. Because I got an opinion. You got a man crush on Robinson.
We finna move on because I already know
what kind of opinion you have. So you got a man
Alabama got to get past Auburn this weekend. Call in. Let's see who think Auburn gonna win.
Exactly, but that's exactly what you said. Got to do putting out there.
Well, so you be putting words in people. You put words in people's mouth. Because I said, okay, because all of a sudden you want to talk about. I know everything. We talk every week about football. But all of a sudden I know everything. But every time somebody do say something critique Robinson, you get in your feelings. So I took your heart off your sleeve because you got a man crush.
I don't get in my feelings. I give you my opinion.
You in your feelings now.
You don't run the ball enough. And I've always said that.
And my opinion is because we don't have that back that can sustain. We don't have the back that can sustain it.
Let's talk right there.
We don't have the manpower for it.
We're gonna move on because Alabama offensive line ain't blocking for the running back and they blocking for Bryce
I
Young.
ain't blocking for
Wendy.
nobody, and we don't have the running back to do what they need to do.
If you're not even gonna try that.
Huh?
And since we talking about last week and week before, last week, have I not said the offensive line coach, the offense period is shabby. But we was talking about the run game. So if we had the perfect offensive line, just like we did when another player was here, if we had the perfect offensive line,
getting 6 to 8 yards of carry in that game.
I didn't say he wasn't.
Away from it. That's exactly what I said.
I didn't say what you said. I didn't say. I know what I said.
You talking about this last game, Mike?
That's how it all got started. Because
It doesn't matter, Mike. That's your opinion. Like you just said, that's your opinion. That's mine. Because when he asked me what I thought, and that's what I thought, and that's what I still think. If we had the perfect linebacker, O-line, I don't think he's that bad. Period. That's how I feel about it. That's my opinion. That's yours. I don't think he's that bad.
205-826-7661. Let's hear from you, Alabama or Auburn. Let's get the sports conversation. Who will win this particular weekend? And if Alabama do get past Auburn, and I say this and I say it again, Alabama will be the team to upset Georgia at number 1. If Georgia get upset in the SEC championship game, do they still deserve a shot in the college playoffs?
Yes.
They will be in college playoffs.
Why?
Yes, they win or lose, they in there.
Why? Why?
Because that's what happened with us like that for a year, and it's not like they're giving it to them.
Okay, so let's take this in consideration. Okay, Alabama upsets Georgia in the SEC championship game. That should put Bama back at 1. Y'all agree?
No.
I don't know, because Ohio State number 2, and I knew they would jump. I knew Bama would end up being number 3.
Here's what's gonna happen. Here's what's gonna happen to Ohio State. Ohio State finna get upset by Michigan. Okay, they didn't get Michigan.
That's a great possibility. That's a big possibility.
But what I'm saying is, you got Cincinnati, which is a team that's knocking on the door, and then you got Notre Dame.
They're not gonna put Cincinnati over Georgia.
No.
I think if the team that loses in the
undefeated Cincinnati.
Okay.
But one loss Georgia is better than anybody in the top 4.
Well,
except them at the current time, because that'll be a present time loss.
I think you'll lose your opportunity, and that's what's probably going to happen.
No,
we've been in that same boat.
If you go by how they usually do it, Daryl, if Alabama at number 3 goes to the SEC championship and beats Georgia will slide back to number 3. Ohio State will move to number 1. And Alabama will move to number 2.
Alabama will jump to number 1. I'm telling you, if they beat the number 1 team, they're gonna jump.
Yeah, I mean, I believe that to a degree, but I also believe you never know what the committee's gonna do. I think what you're saying there will happen, but I know that it's a chance that it win. Because what if Ohio State don't get upset, and what if they hang 35-40 on them like they did Michigan State?
Then Ohio State at number 2, without a doubt. And you'll have a replay of
possible the first championship.
Well, let's put it this way. I guess if Alabama and Georgia, if Alabama loses, of course we know they Sugar Bowl bound, right? We all agree on that. If Alabama loses in the SEC championship, they Sugar Bowl bound. That's just the only alternative they got or Outback. But I think Bama's gonna be the team that's gonna surprise Georgia.
I think they can. I'm just not just watching them all year and being.
It ain't gonna happen.
I don't know.
This is the first actual offense that Georgia is gonna have to contend with with their defense. But their defense is still rather good. Excuse me. The best offense that Georgia has played this year, honestly, has been Tennessee. And Tennessee is nowhere near what Alabama is offensively. The question is whether or not they can get those players up. Now, so that's one thing that I'm concerned about in this Iron Bowl is if Alabama go out there, blow out Auburn, and then they go to Atlanta and play. Cause that's generally what happens. They go out and play one great game, and then the next game they come back, it's like they stagnant. They can't get up for it.
With Alabama, all I know is anything can happen. Loving on the way I do, that inconsistency at this time of the year, that inconsistency at the middle of the year, that was a downslide. That was enough to wake anybody up to just be to the realization. We, like I said in my post, we lowercase BAMA. We ain't playing like uppercase capital BAMA.
Well, we got Florida. We got a Florida fan on the phone with us. Go ahead, Florida.
They ain't even got a coach.
What I'm going to do is
Just what you so tickled for?
What I'm going hush up, lady. Hush up.
What you so tickled for?
Hush up.
What is you so tickled for, mother? Mr. Dan Mullins.
Hey, I sent the letter down there and they listened.
Is he gone? They fired him? Did they fire Dan Mullins?
Oh, yeah.
They fired him. I wrote a letter. I told him I was tired of it. Couldn't deal with it anymore, and they concurred.
But Jason, they asked him about the change in staff. The reporter said, how do you feel about your position? Dan said he felt like his staff, he don't have to make some change with his staff.
You know who said that same thing? Over there at Auburn.
Good smells on.
Matt Mullins he's a good coordinator, offensive coordinator. He can do it, but running it and getting the defense and being a head coach is just not for him because his character, to me, was just too soft and he wasn't assertive and he just didn't have like command.
I agree with you on that, and I agree with that in the same situation with our coach that's at Maryland right now, Loxley. Great offensive coordinator, but just ain't a great. Just can't really get it done as a head coach,
right?
In the ACC, man. That's just all to it. And only somebody that has proven themselves thus far, and I'm gonna tell you, is Kirby Smart. He took the blueprint.
I don't even know why Dan Mullen left Mississippi State.
Kirby Smart. You mess up, he gonna come and get in your face.
Well.
Dan Mullen left Mississippi State because the player pool is better. And folks in Mississippi gonna hate me for saying this. Most of the talent that's in Mississippi leave Mississippi.
He should have stayed there. He would have had better job security.
Job security was good.
Because he left a place with he left a place with mediocre to decent expectations for a place with we won a championship.
Yeah, we won a championship. And like I said,
he felt like he went to Florida with the talent that goes to Florida just by having Florida's name. Mm-hmm. He felt like he could get those players to get him in a contendership.
What Lane Kiffin gonna do? What Lane Kiffin gonna do? Is he gonna stay or go to Miami or go to Florida?
Now they saying that if Miami job come available, he gonna go down. I don't know. But I wouldn't mind if he do go down there because I don't want to see him.
He's scary, isn't
he? I wish he'll come here.
He's scary, isn't he?
Like we need an OC.
Never coming back out.
We need an OC.
I think Mike Loxley would be a good return
he
back
would.
Offense coordinator.
If they take him back.
He left on good terms.
You kidding me?
He left on good terms.
Who?
Mike Loxley.
But
had Loxley been here twice already?
He came as a analyst one time, and then when whoever the coordinator, offensive coordinator was, then he came in that position.
Yeah. Okay. But so he had 2 stints here.
But now,
never heard no problems and no issues. He was very well respected by coaches and players.
Yeah. Georgia's y'all. It ain't gonna be nice. It ain't gonna be good for y'all guys in Georgia.
We always get these bandwagon fans. Remember you're a Gator.
That's right.
Or a Gator Tiger? You a Gator Tiger this week?
Is they gonna go to a bowl this year?
I don't even know. Dang.
Nope.
Florida ain't even gonna make it to a bowl. But
So don't you come?
All we gotta beat is Florida State. All we gotta do is beat Florida State.
no,
That's not gonna happen.
y'all 4-6, man. Y'all ain't 5-6.
That was
Damn, that's what they do. All these other teams, they become bandwagon whoever gets Bama. We
Come
with
on.
Bama. They gonna get Bama. They gonna get Bama. That's the only rack they can hang their hand on.
Hold on, pump your brakes. I'm a football fan. I mean, I'm a football fan of the game, but I watch the game. Now, I see what's going on. I don't just watch my team. My team.
But if you heard me, you know that I know what happened.
What I'm saying is I'm calling what I see, and I just think Georgia's gonna drag y'all. You know, offensively, y'all can put up some points, but I think their defense is a lot more sound, and their offense will score because they will run that ball like ain't nobody's business.
That's why I'm about to say their offense isn't all that, and people keep saying their offense isn't all that. But what I will say, Jesse, is if you listen to me, I've been talking about how we got Georgia, Alabama coaches over there, and they turned Georgia into old Georgia, old Alabama, old Georgia, and most recent Alabama. So I've been saying a lot of stuff that people be like covering their eyes to and acting like this. That stuff is happening, whether you're a fan or not. You see what's happening, and people put their offense down, but their offense can score.
Yeah,
They got some backs. They got some backs. Some backs. Not a back. They got some backs.
That's right.
What's South Carolina old coach name that's the analyst for Kirby Smart now?
Analyst.
Yeah. He was the defensive coach for Alabama at LSU one time. What's his name? Used to be South Carolina head coach. He's an analyst. He's an analyst now.
Oh, I know who you talking. He was an Auburn coach.
What's the analyst?
He was at Auburn for. He went to South Carolina and didn't do good.
Right.
I'm saying, what's an analyst though? I don't understand.
You know, that's what they call it. Basically, just another coach, but they just can't go on the field and stuff like.
What do he coach? What
he was a defensive coach.
He a great defensive coach.
You talking about a coordinator?
No,
he's asking about. He's trying to see who the coach is.
No, the Georgia's defensive coordinator is he used to be our coach in Florida. And he's a heck of his Muschamp. He's a heck of a
Muschamp. Yeah.
That's not an analyst though. He's a coordinator.
Hold on, I'm gonna verify that.
He's a coordinator, or he's a
coordinator. You know,
for who?
For Georgia.
Okay.
Why do you think that defense is 5 like it is?
Because of Kirby a defensive coach.
No, Muschamp is a defensive.
I know they have a DC. I know they have a defensive coordinator, but Kirby is a defensive guru.
Well, he might be, but he got a defensive guru as.
But he is one. If I take Kirby over Muschamp, they both decent. Kirby is a defensive coach. When they say Nick Saban is a defensive coach, Kirby is a defensive coach.
No, Dan Lanning is the defensive coordinator.
Where's Muschamp at? Who I seen him at? I thought I seen him with.
Man, you don't even know your own coaches. Come on, man.
I thought he was down there with Georgia. I thought I seen him on the sideline with Georgia. But
you did. You seen him on the sideline as an analyst. He cannot. He can't do much. He can't say much. He can't do much, from my understanding.
Oh, that's probably why I took him as a coordinator, because I saw him there.
That's just like Tennessee old coach Butch. Was it Butch Davis?
Butch Jones.
Butch Jones. Butch Jones was an analyst for Alabama. Or is he still?
Yeah. Who Muschamp coached under? Before?
Under Nick Saban.
What he did at Auburn? He was
head coach at
Auburn. Was he the defensive coordinator at Auburn?
I think he's the head coach.
He did something at Auburn. He had to be probably a defensive D-line coach, a defensive coordinator or something. But it was a short time. It was for a short time.
Will Muschamp, senior analyst, defense.
Okay, senior analyst defense. I knew he was something over there. I know I seen him on the sideline. You know, in the huddles when they called time out and stuff. I saw him.
What it is, all them guys and got together and said, man, we're going to have to team up together to take down Nick Saban, man. That's all. Dude. We all got to get together, man.
After he's schooled all of them, but the teacher don't never teach you everything you know, just everything he wants you to know.
That's what he did.
I think he coached.
And it'll take all of them. It'll take all of them to know everything he know.
Yeah, I think Muschamp coached under Nick Saban anyway.
He did at LSU.
He did. Same place. What's called coach on them? Fish.
Jimbo Fisher, where they was at down in LSU.
Yeah.
And they he got some good coaches up there, and and one thing Muschamp do well, he recruits well.
I mean, he great at that.
He probably one of the best daggone recruiters, because he go get them defensive players. When he was coaching down there at Florida, I mean, we was always 1 or 2 in the nation in defense while he was there. He just couldn't get a top-notch coordinator in there to run the offense better.
Scott Cochran, special teams coordinator.
That's what I'm saying. We need our Scott. We need that old good spring training coach. We ain't got him. He just left our ass.
No, he's the special team coordinator. He's not strength.
Yeah, because he wanted. That's what it was. He was tired of being a strength training coach. He wanted to be a coach.
Nick wanted to stay strength coach.
He didn't go with Kirby the first time because he was going. He gave it another time. It didn't happen. So Kirby was waiting to give it to him. And look at the conditioning and strengthening of the strength that these boys display now compared to what Cochran was here.
Well, Nick Saban felt like he had somebody better in line. That's what that was.
No, he didn't hire anybody until Scott left. He had the perfect one. Him and Kirby was friends, and that dude didn't leave. Scott liked the community. He liked where he was at, but he wanted to be a coach.
Mm-hmm. So why he hired him as a coach to just keep him?
I don't know. I mean, who knows? Maybe he felt like he wasn't ready. But
he wait till he leave and then you hire somebody.
No, what do you mean? Like Scott left.
He left.
So he had to hire somebody.
Right.
He had to hire a coach.
What I'm saying, you said that when he was there, Nick Saban didn't hire him as a coach, so he left.
He was a strength training coach.
He was He's strength and conditioning coach. He wanted to be
he wanted to be another. He wanted to be right.
Okay, that's what I'm saying. So
it would have been an elevation. It was when he was going. He wanted to elevate.
That's what I'm saying. He had to go somewhere else to get elevated. Nick Saban didn't want to elevate him.
Well, that's because he probably didn't feel like what Scott felt.
Right. So I'm just saying, maybe Nick Saban knew something better.
No, he ain't know nothing better.
Oh, now you doubt?
Not as a strength. Not as a strength. I mean, he didn't know. Maybe he knew that he couldn't be the coach that he thought at the time. But I'm saying what we was missing is the strength training, his position that he had. That's what we're saying. The position that he had, he was the best at it. And now that he's gone, we hadn't had that since he left. Them boys dropping balls, they're not focused. He kept them focused. It wasn't even just about strength training. He kept them guys.
He kept them hustled too, because he was jumping up on the sidelines every time they made a play. He was
every time. Actually, him and Kirby, both of them. But Scott Cochran kept them hyped. And he kept them focused, and they listened. It's like, who's teaching y'all? It's like, who in the weight room with y'all? Like, it's like they losing, fumbling. We've had more fumbles this year than I can count in the past couple of years. That's got a lot to do with that.
Young team, and you got a young team in a position that, like, they've been playing 4 and 5 years. This is really a young team that's just overrated. Can we say that? But I still think they get up for certain games. And I think the game they're going to get up for is Georgia and the SEC championship.
I hope you're right, because it's about time.
I think that you might be right about that, but once again, I think they're going to try to get up for Auburn also, and that's my whole entire thing. I feel like if they go out there and give everything they got to Auburn, and then the next week they're going to be so flat when they come out against Georgia.
And that's a good possibility. That's a good possibility, because look at how they got up for Ole Miss. And Ole Miss still ain't no 17. Ole Miss was number 2 to go. If we had lost, Ole Miss was number 2 to go to the SEC championship. Mm-hmm. So they got up for Ole Miss. And I'm talking about, they didn't beat Ole Miss by no 3, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 points. They got up for Ole Miss, and then the next week, flat.
One thing for sure, and I say this about football: styles make fight. Like boxing, styles make fight, and that's what it's about with football too. It's styles and it's the matchups that makes the game. Some matchups are just a little more difficult for your team to manage than other teams that may have better records, but it's just matchups. Comes down to it, and they just match up better. You just have to acknowledge that part of the game. It's like I said,
That's true, because I still feel like watching Tennessee and Georgia play. Tennessee gave them a run, but Georgia pulled away from them just like we did toward the end. But Bama ain't even been doing that consistently. That's the biggest word to me. I know that they can be the team that will beat the Georgia, but consistently, I just don't. That's still the word. And then, like Mike said, if they play up for Auburn, who's to say they're gonna keep that up for? That's 2 big games back to back. The Ole Miss game was a big game. Then we lose against A&M.
A friend of mine said, every time they have big home games, Alabama don't look well. Because this is his theory of it. He said they probably more likely in having big games the night before they out there partying or whatever. They out there doing something they got the business doing. And
so now for the home games?
Yeah.
That might be true, but to be honest, when you think about it, so a lot of times we take our worst losses during home, like 2012 A&M. First time in the thing, right here in our home field, right in the state. LSU, 2019. LSU was the number 1 team, but like that, you know what? There, like you said, you think we the team that could beat Georgia. In 2019, we were the team that could beat LSU. End up losing by 5, right there in Bryant-Denny Stadium.
Yeah, my boy, he said, man, the only crowd, they probably have them big games at home. Them boys be out there celebrating. They be having the pep rallies and all that stuff be going on out there. Them, what he said, they be sneaking them celebrity acts out there with them crap, the sororities and all that. They be having.
I'm gonna tell you from because I know about some of that. Being in radio or being they do have concerts. That be fraternities that have that stuff. The players don't actually get a chance to be involved in that until Saturday night. On Friday night, they have a curfew that they have to be in. And Nick Saban has been very, very strict on that curfew. Like they can't go and do nothing on Friday night. He makes sure that they was in because he don't want no problem for Saturday. So as far as like what you said about the concerts and stuff, yeah, they have blackout concerts all the time, and I'm talking about big name people. I actually went to a couple of them. They had 3 6 Mafia at one of those fraternity houses. They had Wale, they had Ludacris, and nobody else in Tuscaloosa knew anything about it.
Well, they keep it campus.
It's only for fraternities. It's only for fraternities, and they have fraternity house parties.
But they have these people in it. But the money folks.
Yeah, basically.
Man, folks like the Yin Yang twins used to be out there all the time. We used to be talking about when we seen them in Georgia, they'd be like, they'll remember your faces. How much the Yin Yang twins used to be out there. I'm talking about a lot, and especially these areas in the southeast, Atlanta, right there. So many people come. Walker, that's why Walker felt so comfortable to just ride his bike on the strip.
He ain't stopped coming to Alabama because they put them down by where not a band practice over there by that
Arbor's over there.
Yeah.
Because they were out there complaining out there. It's outside out there at the field.
They want them on the strip. And they said that's the last time they coming.
I don't blame them. That's the equivalent of keeping the niggas in the outhouse. This is my friend,
Well, let me ask.
They stay in the outhouse.
Let me ask y'all this, and y'all can think about it. Mike, what phone company are you with?
Verizon.
Veronica?
T-Mobile.
Jesse?
Xfinity.
Okay.
Actually, T-Mobile and Verizon.
Well, I'm talking about your cell phone number.
Yeah. I mean, I kind of compare a lot of people say like Verizon more, but I do prefer my T-Mobile phone to mine.
Let me ask y'all this.
Yeah.
Do we all I'm on AT&T, and we're gonna talk about this next week because these cell phones getting outrageous, y'all. I don't know about T-Mobile and I don't know about Verizon, but AT&T is outrageous.
Hey, I hear you. I had to fire.
That's one reason I prefer my T-Mobile.
Yeah, I fired.
Yeah, T-Mobile just about give stuff away.
Just why'd you get rid of AT&T?
Yeah, who, me? I did.
Uh-huh.
Okay, I called them up because
Mm-hmm.
I had lost the phone, and I had called them, told them I lost my phone, but my boy, like a like a little brother to me, he what happened? He was calling me, and some UA students, had found emails, had found my phone, and the girl answered it. And so my boy Dre, he's like, who's this? He was like, who is this? Like, that's my big brother's phone. The girl like, yeah, we just found it over here. Actually, I had left it over to that ice machine right there where Dollar Store and the Beauty Mart is at over there. That ice machine there.
Mm-hmm.
I left it
on Skyland.
Yeah, on Skyland there. I left it on the platform there, and he brought it to me. And he come over to where I'm at, and he like, bro, what's happening? I was sitting down. He's like, big brother, what's happening? And I've been calling you. He was messing with me. He said, man, here your phone go right here. I said, man, where you find my phone? He said, man, I call your phone. These girls from university, they have to get some ice for this ice joint. Then they found your phone, and here you go. So meanwhile, I had called them in, got the insurance thing going and all that, and so they had my phone on its way. So like they have it it may take 2 days to get your phone to you,
Mm-hmm.
2 maybe 3, whatever. So that Monday or Tuesday, my phone shows up. I call AT&T. I tell them, look, I got your phone, right? But I have found my phone, so I'm going to just send your phone back, because I think the copay was like $100, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was like, I'm just going to send your phone back. So I sent their phone back, and my bill comes, right?
Mm.
These fools got the $100 charge on the bill.
Mm.
That copay on that bill. So I said, oh, wait a minute. I sent you your phone back. You're not gonna, I'm not paying you $100. I don't have your phone. So they was like, well, we haven't received the phone yet, and this, that, and the other. I was like, well, what does that have to do with me? I told you I sent the phone. I'm not paying this $100. That's all. I'm just gonna pay my bill. So the lady on there was like going back and forth with me. And I was like starting to get really offended by her going back and forth with me. When I told her I sent this new phone back. And like other words, they're like, well, we can't really take the word for it, really don't believe you until it gets processed. Because this person got to get it, and this person got to scan it, then they got to put it back on the shelf type of thing. I was like, I don't got anything to do with that. First off, what you should have done is like you do with your digital boxes, cable boxes. You take it to UPS, they scan it there, and they give you a slip, and it's in your system. I suggest y'all do that with your cell phones because I'm not paying this $100. So the lady said, well, okay, fine. So I said, okay. So here we go with that situation. So I got a little ticked off. So what I did was, okay, I'm gonna do this. I called them back. What? I'll tell you what. I just got off the phone with. If you look in your phone records, you'll see I had a conversation, yesterday with one of your agents. But I'm calling to tell you all that I'm firing you. Y'all fired. I said after 20 some odd years being with y'all, for y'all to insult me, one of your workers, I talked to a supervisor, whatever, for one of your employees to insult me, and I have this long tenure with this company, and to be insulted like that, y'all fired. So I'm going to fire. I said, I'm firing y'all. I was ticked off. 25 years with AT&T when it was singular. I was with these doggone people.
Mm-hmm.
So you imagine how frustrated I was. So
the sad thing is, a lot of the managers don't even care. Just so you talking to the regular people, And then it's okay, well, give me a manager. Some of the managers be just as clueless, or either they don't care.
They don't care.
They don't care.
They're simply trying to get money from you. Whatever it was billed, that's their focus. And that really offended me. So like I told you, y'all fired. Period. I'm done with you. I went to another provider. That's all I did there. I fired them and I called them to fire them.
Okay.
I wanted to fire them because it made me feel better.
Now, let's go over the ending of that. Once you fired them, did you pay them the $100?
No, absolutely not. What happened was the mistake I made though was that I didn't go to the Verizon, because I went to Verizon. I didn't go to Verizon first to keep my number. I didn't know. I thought I'd fire them, move on, get my number. No, if you do, make sure you go and sign with the new company, get your number changed, the same number, and then you do it. Because you do it that part first, the number it disappears. It goes into the system and you can't recover it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you actually own your number. Once they give it to you, you own it. So when you go somewhere else, that's why you can take it with you.
Well, that's what I'm saying. What happened to that? What happened to the thing about you taking your number anywhere?
Well, you can take it with you, but what you can't do, you have to hold on, Mike. Yeah, if you cancel it, go ahead, Mike. Go, you want to be like
if you cancel your service with the provider, you giving them back the number. But if you go somewhere else and say I want a new service, they'll ask you, do you want to transport your number?
Right.
And then they'll do it. Because they have to do a whole bunch of different things with that. Now, if you cancel before you do that, then they'll throw it back in the system.
So basically, you release your number if you cancel first. Basically, you giving them back the number.
Yeah, I didn't know that. I didn't know.
I was the same thing with Xfinity. When I used to do the telephone service for Xfinity before my eyes went out, and it's the exact same thing. That's how you get to keep your home phone number.
Mm-hmm.
You own that home phone number. It's a thing called a switch that they send.
But here's my point about this, and we're gonna talk about this on next week, not Thursday, because we're gonna celebrate Thanksgiving this weekend. I think it's a issue that there's no one to talk to at AT&T about solving issues with their cellular problems. Because from my understanding, a lot of the people that you're talking to is from a telemarketing company. They're not actually. They are not actually AT&T employees.
People are foreigners, man.
Well, not even that. Some of them not foreigners, but they read a script. Some of them people are actually sitting at their house on their personal computers, answering the phone, and they have a script, and they can only access so much stuff.
Mm-hmm.
That's and they go into that because it's supposed to be a cheaper thing than having operators at a building. It's supposed to be cheaper than that, because all they're doing is paying you for your time on the internet. You have to pay your own internet service and have your own computer to do your job, but you can do it at home.
I'll tell you one thing. I went through that with what Darryl talking about, and I think, man, they shit me all over the place.
Yes.
And back to the person I started with.
Yes.
I'm like, what are y'all doing?
Yes.
I mean, that's what I'm about to say. So, Darryl, that what happened? They just ship you kind of.
They just keep
here. There's nobody to really solve the problem.
Nobody solve the problem, and it's still on your. It's still on your credit report. Just check your credit report to make sure, because here's my question. They say this call is being recorded.
Mm-hmm.
Well, for me to have an issue with you, and you say this call is being recorded, and I got a dispute, but you can't pull up the recording.
Mm.
They'll do that until it's on for their behalf.
Yeah, that's
I'm telling you this because I actually worked at a place that we did a lot of customer service, and that was one of the gripes with unfortunately Xfinity, the call center. Those people were not down here; they were all over the country, and people were calling Xfinity customer service, and those people read off of. Y'all tell me if y'all have heard this when y'all call. You have a problem with your TV? Okay, go to the back of the TV, unplug it.
Mm-hmm.
Wait 30 seconds and plug it back in.
Yeah, the box. Yeah. All of them do that. AT&T do that too when you call about their box.
Now, how many times has that actually worked for you?
With AT&T, it has worked because it reboots the box. It has worked a couple times, but a couple times it didn't work, and I had to actually get with the tech. They finally put me through the technicians department, and they finally had to start sending signals to the box.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what happens if they send too many signals to the box?
Yeah, they sent a couple signals and that straightened it out.
I'm saying, you know what happens if they send too many signals to the box?
It shut it down?
It'll fry the box. Now, they have a script that they go through in that situation. If you at your house right now, you got Xfinity and your TV go off.
Mm-hmm.
And it used to be a little blue box that used to come up there that say, 1 moment, please.
Mm-hmm.
If it says 1 moment, please, that means that the box is not talking to the cable.
Mm-hmm.
Well, now, it could be any reason. It could be a bad signal coming in or anything.
Mm-hmm.
Well, those people on the phone don't know that. They have no idea. They're going to tell you, unplug it, plug it back in. Oh, it's still not doing it? Let me send a signal to it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, is it on? No? Okay, let me send another signal. Okay, let me send another signal.
Mm-hmm.
And then the box will actually go off.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to come back on again, but it's completely gone. All your codes and everything in that box is gone. Technician's got to come out there. Immediately when he come out there, he's going to change that box out.
Mm-hmm. You know, they check the box.
Half the time they want to charge, or they try to charge you.
Yes.
You got to. By the time I get through with them, it ain't going to be no charge unless I know it's something that definitely should be charged.
So you gonna overtalk them? You gonna overtalk them for real?
Changed some stuff since I done been there, but it used to be like if it was equipment problem, then we wouldn't charge you. But if it was, like, we had a whole lot of what we call weekend warriors, people trying to what they call geek up a box, try to take the card in it and try to get more channels and all that kind of stuff. If we see them do some sort of tampering with the box, then that's going to be a charge.
Mm-hmm.
But I can't tell you how many times I've seen that. But getting back to the fact of those people not knowing, and I've always said they need to train those people to know a little something about the equipment they're telling you how to fix stuff. Most of the time when you unplug the box, you're doing absolutely nothing but unplugging the box and plugging it back in.
Mm-hmm.
It's not going to change too much of nothing. I have no idea where they even got that from. But that is the first thing they tell you to do.
Yeah, because they pretty much their guesstimation is if the box will reboot itself back as it's coming back up, and sometimes they do and sometimes they don't. I know I have, like I said, I have hit the button on the back of the box, but that was AT&T. I have pressed the back of the box when I had them once before, and it rebooted and it started back up and it connected. You know, that's what it's supposed to do. It's almost like your cell phone. Like if you have a problem with your cell phone, sometimes you shut that phone off and let it come back up, and it'll stop.
Right. Sometimes, they even do that before you even call them. Like you reset your own box, reset the box, and see does it work.
Yeah, to see if it works, because that's the whole purpose. Most computers, you cut them off and let them let it reboot itself. Is when it's coming back up, is reconnecting to the system. That's what they're built to do. You know, so
if you have a problem with the IP address becoming stale, so like sometimes you try to get on your Wi-Fi right now and you're like, oh, it's on, but why is it running slow or something like that? Your IP became stale. If you reset that, that's going to be different because it's supposed to reset by itself.
Right.
But if you have a TV or anything and it just says 1 moment, please, it could be a signal problem behind the wall or outside even. So that's why a technician used to have to come on out there. He probably had to go up the pole or he had to go in your attic to the splitters. So
we're gonna
but
talk about this on next week, but the legalities behind these bills, there's I've disputed on multiple occasions a cell phone bill. They refuse to even talk about, even remove. So we're gonna talk about this
Well, see,
because
that's what I was just about to ask you before you got ready to go, because I'm trying to get to like what exactly was like your issue with it since it was AT&T. Like because it be so many, like each company seems like they got their little set of issues, and sometimes it's like the same thing. But when you start saying something about the recorded calls, it's real funny. Like Jesse said, those calls are meant to help them, because when you say, like one time they threatened to hang up on me, they're like, Miss Taylor, because she was just telling, they was lying. Like, yeah, I called them like 5 times, and something was supposed to be off my bill. At this point, I'm livid, because when I'm telling you what I'm telling you, I don't want you to stop me from telling you, because if I lose my train of thought and I get off the phone and then that's not BS, I'm gonna be mad with me. And what can I do with being mad with me? And so just let me tell you, because you're there to help me. And it's like you go through telling them all this stuff, and then sometimes they even nowadays, because they know managers won't do anything, those people start to get smart with you. So I had to ask Black, aren't y'all recording these calls? Then you say that you're recording these calls so that you can better service people, because you're being really rude. And it, well, we can only allow you to talk to us certain kind of way so long. I said, well, how about you just only get rid of the service? And then that used to be a time where they would get somebody who a manager. Now when they get a manager, they looking clueless. They sounding clueless.
No, Veronica, they'll be lying. They'll say when you actually speak to a manager, first they'll say, let me get a minute now. They're in a meeting. I think they.
Oh, they sure tell that lie. Yes, they sure tell that lie.
They'll go, and then they'll come back and say, well, I wasn't able to get the manager or the supervisor at this time, but if you want to, you can call back later. I was like,
I hold on. I hold on one time for 2 hours. And finally got the manager, because like you said, they was lying.
I heard that. I heard people say they hung on 5 hours.
The best thing to do, because they say they can record, and once they say that they can record you, you can record them. You should record the conversation also, and when you talking to somebody, you should get their name, and if they won't give you their name, they need to give you their ID number.
Exactly.
You can identify who it is that you were talking to. Or when you say, well, I was talking to Agent 7809, and I was telling her my problem, and she wasn't trying to be helpful, and this is what was said. I have a recording of the conversation. If y'all can't find y'all recording.
That's right.
But see, that's why I got curious with Darren, because Darren's so laid back. And I'm like, if Darren got frustrated, then I know.
Hours.
I know it's something.
Hours of waiting to hear something. But we're gonna talk about it. It ain't just me.
Phone, there is a recording app on your phone where you can actually record your conversation.
Right.
So,
but I'm just saying that the idea of the concept of how many people are really having problems with their cell phone, and I'm not the only one say they having problems with AT&T.
I think a lot of people do, Daryl. I think they and that's the reason why people switch from cell phone company to cell phone company. And a lot of them actually going to the straight talk and the stuff that Walmart has.
I'm almost at that point.
But y'all imagine the elderly trying to deal with them.
Yes.
Oh my God.
Oh yeah.
That's my thing. Every time I always think of imagine the elderly people.
System phone. So the government system phone, I don't know if they have that same problem with.
They do.
Yeah. Okay.
They do. They do. That's what I'm saying. Just imagine the elderly or somebody who may be not elderly, but may not be, they might not be as aggressive with what they're telling, and they'll take anything. Imagine how many times, like Jesse said, they've been lied to, and then they can't just say, stop lying. Like me, usually when you lie to me one time, I'm like, no, I know this game. I'm not. I said, well, I hold on for me, however long it takes. That's why I always make sure I try to call early in the morning on the day that I got time. And if it's a problem that's coming up right then, and if they're there at night, I get them. Or if they're not, I'm just like, I got time. I keep it on hold because they're usually lying. Well, she's in the meeting and she hold on just a second. Let me check with the manager. So they'll come back and then they'll tell you they're going to do this and they're going to do that. And you come and you see your bill and you see it hadn't been done, or you go online since they say everything is so much quicker online. Well, I'm thinking, well, whatever you told me should be should be implemented right now online. It's not done yet. You got to call to make sure that they're not doing this, they're not doing that. So you have to speak with somebody that knows what they're talking about. And it's kind of just hit and miss. It depends on the personality too.
Yeah, it does. It does. Because I was I've been on the phone with folks. Once I get a agent, I'll be having an issue. I'll be on the phone in like about 25, 30 minutes. You know, then you can be on the phone with some folks. They're just impatient and they have a little attitude, like Veronica said. Next thing you know, you just get to the point where they got you so upset that you got to let off some steam.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So,
And then they're telling you the call is recorded.
Because they don't have to see you face to face. Being a former technician, I can tell you that the call center heated up so many people that when I got there, I couldn't even get out my van good before they was coming at me wide open. And I have to now become the person that have to calm them down, get the information because they don't give me all the information. The call center don't, and then try to fix their problem. So it's hard on everybody around, and it starts with that call center. They have that mentality of thinking where everybody got to have this service, or everybody wants this service, so we can do what we want to do. I personally haven't had many problems with providers, but that's not to say that it don't happen. I think that all of these big carriers do that. I think the biggest problem with me is when they tell you that your bill is going to be one thing, and then all the taxes and service charges and stuff like that get put on to your bill, and it's like, dang, this ain't even close.
And Mike, and I don't even want to go into detail, but this credit, when they say, okay, you upgrade your phone and we're gonna credit you $300, but if you're doing wireless phone, paperless phone bill, and you don't really look to see where that credit coming in at, man, they could be jamming you up so bad right now you don't even know it.
They have different ways of talking to make you think that you get a deal with them, and then once you get that first deal, it's like, dang, like those people that go and get a new phone every 2 years because they like, oh, I'm not on the contract anymore, and I get a new phone. You paying for it, because that's the reason why your bill is so high. For that whole entire time, because you're paying for a phone, and them phones is usually like
2 years,
$1,200, $1,500, $1,600.
Yeah, and they only good for 2 years.
You want to know how much it costs to make that phone? That very phone probably don't cost them more about $12, $14 to make the phone. And because you got to look at this, how come some phone company is giving the phones away?
But they're not though.
I know what I'm saying. But
somehow or another, you're paying for that phone.
Some you sign a contract with them and you pay for. You don't pay for them. But some that they'll give you the phone and then they'll have a payment plan on your bill for the phone.
Yeah. So you still paying for the phone,
right? But some companies still give it free. Like I think T-Mobile, they giving those iPhone Pro 13.
I guarantee you they're not free. There's some fine print in there where you paying extra for that phone. That's just like at the beginning of the year, Verizon did this, and they still actually had a commercial on. They giving everybody a free upgrade to the 5G, and I went in and asked about it. Well, you can only choose a certain phone, and your other phone had to be paid off first, and then they give you that phone at this price. And you also have to upgrade to a unlimited plan if you don't have an unlimited plan currently.
Hey guys,
so
great.
There's a whole bunch of different things.
We're gonna talk about. We're gonna talk about this.
Like you could get something free, but you're not.
We're gonna talk about the scams of the carriers next week. We're gonna talk about it, and we're gonna see how many other people being scammed too, also on these phone lines. Hey, y'all have a great Thanksgiving. Great Thanksgiving. Don't eat too much. I don't plan on to. And roll tide.
Roll Tide. And I tell y'all what the worst scam is I done heard of before y'all go. The next time you go in Dollar Tree, be prepared to pay $125. Now Roll Tide.
Bye, Veronica.
I mean, how wrong can you be? Go to the dollar store and nothing in there is $1. Come on. Come on, man.
Bye, y'all.
Bye, y'all. Bye.